Welcome to the Having It All podcast, the show about what it takes to live an abundant, loving life. My name is Matthew Bivens, and each week I'm helping you get out of your head so that you can truly have it all. Let's do it. What's going on, beautiful people? Matthew Bivens here, and welcome to another episode of the Having It All podcast. Today's conversation is cool. I'm feeling hyped. I'm feeling the energy. I actually just got off of a client call, and life is full of such beautiful, connected moments that we like to call coincidences, but I don't believe there's any coincidence. And so what's amazing about this is today's topic is all about visualization. I have been incorporating visualization into my morning routine, into my meditation, and I want to share with you, how it's impacted my life and things that are that I'm actually visualizing and feeling. And what's wild is that's the topic that I was intending on recording, and I jump into a call with my client, and she's talking a little bit about visualization as well. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. Why in this call? We've been working together for months, 4 or 5 months. Why on this call is she going to bring up visualization? And I'm intending on recording an episode on it just a few minutes later. Can't make that stuff up. So it's cool. I jumped off that call real excited to get on the mic and share this cool stuff with you. So that's what we're digging into today. But first I got some magic to share. So my magic is, magic is when you influence self, others, or life in an empowering way. And you're doing this all the time. You're constantly influencing yourself, but you're not always aware of it. We miss those moments. We miss those magical moments in our lives. And if we miss them again and again and again, we begin to feel that we don't have influence over our lives, that things simply happen to us. We begin to think and believe in things like coincidence or luck. And we totally miss that we are co-creators in our life experience. And so I share magic so that you can really connect with this truth that you are influencing and impacting everything in your life. You're influencing and impacting yourself, others, and life itself. So today, my magic is, for the past few nights, I have been waking up early for me, and getting into making some awesome deposits before the rest of my household gets up. So 5:30 is when I've been getting up, and that's definitely early for me. And it's been a cool practice to just commit to. Like, all right, I'm waking up at 5:30. That's my new thing. And I tend to do things cold turkey. I just decide, all right, I'm gonna do it like this, and I'm gonna roll from powerful things, jumping into new powerful habits and new routines such as this, to disempowering things. Like I remember when I stopped smoking weed, it was cold turkey. One day I just decided I'm done. And I threw away all of the paraphernalia. I threw away a bag of weed. I was just done. So with this magic, I just decided I'm getting up at 5:30 a.m. And that was it. So for the past 2 mornings, I've gotten up. I've loved on my body with some exercise, with a workout, which has been cool. I don't normally work out that early, but I signed up for this pretty cool program called The Limit, which gives me these home workouts, which I dig because it incorporates yoga style movements, but it's not yoga. And I love that. I love that because I dig yoga style, but I don't always love the practice of yoga. So this has been perfect for me. So I wake up early, I do my workouts, I set goals. I set my goals for the day, I set my intention for the day, and then I get to work on my big rock. That big thing I want to accomplish in the day. Or you've probably heard, like, eat your frogs first. I start eating my frog first thing in the morning. And I do all that until 7:15 when Maya wakes up. And it's been great routine doing that for the past few days. And so that's my magic, influencing myself to do that, even though I don't want to wake up early. Like, I want to sleep in. It's hard hitting, hearing that alarm and actually getting out of bed. But I've been able to influence myself to do that. And that's inspiring for me. And that's been my magic. So take this as an opportunity right now. Before you listen to the rest of the episode, I just want you to hit pause and reflect on one piece of magic for yourself. Think about some way that you have influenced self in the last 24 hours to do something empowering. So go ahead and hit pause now And I'll give you a little space to think about it for a second. All right. Hopefully now you're feeling that energy of connecting with the fact that you are a magical being. Let's flow into some listener love. I love just showing appreciation for all of you, because you're the reason why I jump behind the mic and do this every week. It's because it's for a lot of reasons, but one of those big reasons is I know that these things they connect. I know that I'm not the only one who's experiencing these struggles and overcoming these challenges and loving the breakthroughs and the magical moments. So it's because I know you're listening that I show up and do this every week. And so I'd love to just extend that gratitude your way when you guys take a minute to reach out to me and connect. Today's listener love goes to Jose, and Jose shot me an email, and it was an awesome email, and just the way that you shared, there was a lot of vulnerability in your email, Jose, and it's incredible. We don't know each other. Let's be real. You don't know me. You know my voice, and you know things that I've shared through the podcast. So in a sense, you know all me from what I've shared, but that's okay. We don't have to know each other 100% the way that I know my sisters, the way that I know my spouse, the way I know Sarah, in order for us to open up and be vulnerable with one another. And that's a beautiful thing. And so, Jose, you were open and you were vulnerable. And I love that you said that, the messages that you hear in the podcast seem to hit you at the perfect time, at the specific time, right when you need to hear them, those messages hit you. And that's just one of those things, right? It's not coincidence. It's not coincidence. We were riding on that same frequency, on that same wavelength. So I was speaking what you were feeling, and that's a cool thing. So Jose, I appreciate you reaching out. I appreciate you emailing me and just connecting. If anybody else wants to connect, if you want to jump in a conversation, hit me up, mattcbivens@gmail.com. That's my email address. Matthew_Bivens on Instagram is where you can find me. And let's get in a conversation. I love it. I love talking to you all. It fuels me up. So reach out. All right. Today's conversation, I want to talk about visualization. And I want to share a few things. First of all, I just want to share what it is. I just want to dig into what the practice of visualization actually is. Then I want to talk a little bit about how you do it, sort of, and why it works, why it's something that high achievers in all areas do, from professional athletes to I don't know, business folks to whatever. People use visualization to live their best lives, to be their greatest version of themselves. And it's a beautiful, powerful, palpable thing. It's something you can feel. So I want to talk about that. And then I'll kind of walk you through how to do it. At least I'll walk you through how I do it, so that you can, end this episode with some concrete things for you to go ahead and try. And once again, I don't share things with you that I'm not doing myself or that I haven't tried myself. And so I'm not telling you that I'm an expert at visualization, but it's definitely been an enlightening practice for myself, an empowering practice for myself. And I can feel shifts happening in my behavior due to what's happening when I close my eyes and I get into this powerful internal state. So first and foremost, what is visualization? So really, all that it is it's using your imagination. It's using your imagination to visualize something that you want to experience in life. It's using your mind's eye to put yourself there, to put yourself in that experience, in that place. You can visualize your dreams, something that you've always dreamed of, something that you've always wanted to achieve or to accomplish or to be. And you can use visualization to put yourself there as if it was already complete, as if you already had it, as if you already were it. So visualization is all about thinking about those things that you want and then feeling them, truly feeling them, as if they're here today, as if they're here right now in this very moment, and feeling it with every cell in your body, with every fiber, and knowing that thing that you're focusing on, that thing that you're desiring, is already here. That's what happens when you are visualizing. And it's powerful. It's powerful because we are able to create emotional states simply by thinking of them. And it's easy to create a disempowering emotion, right? It's easy to connect with that statement by thinking of a disempowering scenario or emotion, and you'll probably will feel it in your body. Like public speaking, that's a huge fear for a lot of people. So imagine you're on a stage and there's 1,000 people whose every eyeball is trained on you, and they're waiting on you to say something profound, right? Like that probably is enough to create that feeling of anxiety and nervousness in people. So you can just think about something and create an emotional state. So knowing that's the case, you can create a new relationship to something simply by visualizing it, by visualizing yourself becoming that thing, becoming that higher version of yourself. So I'll give you an example. I have had a scarce relationship to money for as long as I can remember. And I've shared that with you on the show. I've talked about it on several episodes. So my relationship to my personal finances, my relationship to money in general, has leaned to the side of scarce, like money's going to go away. That it's not here forever. It's finite. And so what I'm using visualization for, one of the things I'm using visualization for, is to put myself in that experience of financial abundance. Like I think about what would it feel like to be making, $15,000 a month. That's not what I'm making right now. So if I put myself in that state and ask myself that question, like, what does it feel like to put myself in that space? What happens when I open my bank account and I know that 15,000 is going to be in there, and 15,000 will be there, and an additional amount will be there at the end of the week or at the end of the month? What does that feel like? How do I relate to my bills? How do I relate to my expenses? What does it feel like when the things that I have been planning for, I'm making big strides towards? I'm going to my sister's wedding next summer. She's getting married in Slovenia. And this morning in my visualization, I thought, what would it feel like for that entire trip to be 100% paid for? Everything. From being able to go out and purchase new luggage, because our luggage, our suitcases are old as hell. So being able to go out and purchase some new suitcases, to ride in business class for that international flight, to having a car come and pick us up and take us to a badass hotel or an Airbnb, better yet, 'cause that's where we like to stay, Airbnb. What does it look like to have all of our food taken care of? What does it feel like, right? And so what I'm really working on is I'm putting myself in that space of feeling and truly, truly connecting to that feeling of that sort of financial abundance for myself. Experiencing it as if it's happening right now. And I don't get out of my meditation, I don't get out of my visualization until I connect with that feeling. Until I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that's it. And I was telling my client earlier today, we were talking about this, and I was making the analogy of, like, imagine you're in a room and the lights are out. And there's a light switch on the wall, and it's pitch black in the room, you can't see it. So you're searching for that light switch, and you're touching the walls, and you're moving across the room. That's kind of like what it's like been for me in this visualization practice. And I'm in there, and I'm trying to feel what that financial abundance is like, what that level of financial abundance is like. And I'm searching for that light switch. I'm trying to feel it. And then I hit the light switch, and boom, I feel it. Oh, yes, that's what that feels like. That's what life is like at 15,000 per month. That's the type of state you want to get to with your visualization, where you are actually experiencing, as if it was happening right now, as if it was here today, experiencing those feelings. Because a really powerful thing happens when your thoughts and your feelings align. That creates a state of beingness. You are being that thing that you are visualizing. I am being that financially abundant person. You are being that successful, effortless mom. Whatever it is, when your thoughts and your feelings connect and they align on that thing that you are focusing on, that's when you hit that state of beingness. And that state of beingness is what is going to influence your behaviors and your actions. So visualization is such a powerful tool. It really is. And it's something that athletes do all the time. All the time. If you've ever studied an elite athlete, if you've ever, read a biography or listened to some interviews on them, especially Olympians, like that's one of the things that I've heard with Olympians, because it's every 4 years they get to go and do their craft. So I was reading an article about Olympians from the last Olympics, and they were talking about like in the gymnastics routines. So, some of the American women, and they were saying that they have performed their routines thousands of times in their mind. Thousands of times in their mind before they ever got on that Olympic stage. They have gone over everything from the morning they wake up, on that morning that they are going to, be on the mat, to what they're eating for breakfast and how they're feeling, what that emotional state is, like that feeling of confidence, like, yeah, I got this today. To their drive to the arena, to the food they're putting in their stomach, to even when they're taping up themselves up and chalking themselves up before they're about to go out. They've thought through that experience so many times. And then they've thought through the experience of what they're going to do in their routine, where they're going to place their hand, when they're going to take that deep inhale, how they're going to tuck their body. They've thought through that so many freaking times that by the time it shows up, they can be at a much more place of ease and peace with it, because they've already done it. And now they don't have to think about it. Athletes use visualization all the time. I was watching an interview of Michael Jordan, and I think it was post-game type of thing. And somebody asked him the question, what would you say is you're more powerful in? They didn't use that word, but whatever. What would you say you're more powerful in? Your physical skills or your mental skills? And he was like, oh, mental by far. And they're so much more important. He's like, I was, in some levels, I had God-given physical talent. And again, this is Michael Jordan, right? This is not me talking. He's like, I had that basketball talent. I was physically gifted. I could walk into a gym and, I'm still 6'5", 6'6". I think that's what he was. And that, that is what it is. But it's that mental capacity. It's that those mental skills that are way more important. And so he would visualize what it looks like to hit free throws. In his mind, he knew exactly what he needed to do to hit free throws, because he would stop and he would sit and he would go through that. And so when he would step up to the line, it was like it was already done. He already knew what to do. He didn't have to think about it. My client, when I was talking to her, she was a professional dancer. And she would tell me that, before a competition, if they weren't able to actually go and practice the routine, her coach would have them go out into the hallway and sit down and just run through it in their mind. To use visualization to put themselves in that state, to put their body in that state. And what's amazing is that, as you're putting yourself emotionally into that frame of mind and thinking through it, your brain is making those connections. Like, your brain doesn't always distinguish between something that's actually happening versus something you're just thinking about. Again, that's why you can make yourself sweat, you can make your heart rate go up simply by thinking of something that makes you nervous. Your brain doesn't know if it's actually happening or you're just thinking about it, so it's going to react. Same thing happens when you're visualizing something empowering, visualizing something awesome. Your brain is making those neural connections with that state that you are wanting to be in. I love this stuff. It's so cool. I mean, it's so cool understanding that you can hack your mind, so to speak. And for me, this helps ground a concept like law of attraction. Law of attraction is something, I've talked about that as well. I never believed in the sort of set it and forget it sort of mentality. Like, all right, I'm going to write what I want from the universe, and I'm going to put that on my order, and then I'm just going to send it out there, and I'm going to wait and for it to come. And that, I think, commonly is how a lot of people view law of attraction. But when you think about this idea of visualization and you combine it with law of attraction, then it does make a lot of sense, because if there's something that you want to experience, some state you want to be in, and you think about it and you focus on it and you connect and you align your thoughts and your feelings with that state, you then become a different person. And when you are becoming a different person, you are going to create different results in your life. You are going to attract different things into your life. You have to. You have to. You are creating and attracting everything in your life currently because of the thoughts and the feelings that you currently have. That's a concept that is very, very important to connect with. Everything that you're experiencing in your life right now is because of the thoughts, the actions, the behaviors that you're currently doing. So if you want to get to a different space, you need to change those thoughts, those feelings, and those behaviors. I've called them art forms: actions, relationships, and thoughts. So visualization allows you to go into your brain and hack those thoughts and those relationships. Relationships are how you feel about something. So when I'm visualizing myself being in that state of financial abundance where I effortlessly am attracting that type of money into my life, what I'm working on is putting myself in that space, in my thoughts, in my feelings, so that I'm becoming that person. And the next thing to follow is that my actions are then impacted. My actions change. And once you have all three of those things humming along at that new direction, you're going to create different results in your life. You are. This is how you reinvent yourself. This is how you create new things in your life. You have to go about deprogramming that old self and then reprogramming the new self, the person that you want to be. Visualization is a powerful, powerful tool to do this stuff. And I've been listening to a lot of Joe Dispenza lately. If you're not familiar with Joe Dispenza, I definitely recommend Googling him. He's a scientist, he's an author, a teacher, a lecturer, and he talks so much about this stuff, about how you can like overcome the limits of your own brain, of your own mind. How you can break down your old self and your old habits and recreate yourself anew using your brain. It's really fascinating stuff. And he's a scientist, right? So he brings in all of this science with this stuff. And it really does boil down to, being able to connect with those new thoughts and those new feelings to create a new state of beingness so that it shifts what you're creating in your life. It shifts the results that are popping up. So for me, I keep bringing these examples back to me because I think it helps ground some of these concepts, which kind of seem a little bit out there. Yeah, close your eyes and think about what you want, and then you're going to create it. I get it. It seems kind of out there. But, I can truly connect with that art form conversation: actions, relationships, thoughts. Your actions, relationships, and thoughts are creating what you are experiencing in your life right now. And when I say results, I mean what's showing up. What's showing up. So again, I bring it back to me and I think of income. What's showing up is I'm at a certain level of income right now. I'm at that level of income because of my actions, my relationships, and my thoughts. If I didn't have those actions, relationships, thoughts, my income would be different. It could be up, it could be down. But given my current actions, relationships, and thoughts, my actions, my feelings towards things, and what I'm thinking about, it's creating this certain level of income. So what I'm doing with visualization, I'm going back in and I am reprogramming my relationships, how I'm feeling about money, how I'm feeling about myself as an abundant being. I'm reprogramming that, and I'm reprogramming my thinking to impact what's showing up, to impact my income level. And it's just a really, I'm feeling it. Like it's palpable. And that's one of the coolest things that I've experienced from this practice, which is new to me. It totally is new to me. But one of the coolest things is when I sit there and I give myself time. You have to allot a certain amount of time in order for you to find that light switch and hit the switch, right? So that you actually can feel it. It may not happen in 10 minutes. It may not happen in 30 minutes. You got to give yourself enough time. When I give myself enough time and I hit that switch, I finally find it and I connect with that feeling. Holy shit. I feel one of the first things I feel is tension release. It lifts. It's literally like I'm wearing a heavy blanket and someone comes and pulls that blanket off. That's that financial burden that I have on my shoulders that I'm creating for myself. When I connect with that feeling of what it's like to be in that new state of financial abundance, that burden, that feeling of like I'm always thinking about money and it's always in the back of my mind, it's lifted. And that feeling of it being lifted, I'm like, holy shit, I love this feeling. I could get down with this feeling. I want more of that feeling. It's palpable. I'm like, man, okay. And now when I'm swimming in that feeling, I think, what does my world feel like now? Like I said earlier, what's my relationship to my expenses? What's going on? And how am I creating this? That's the next step that I've taken it. How am I creating this financial abundance? What's happening? And I'm telling you, it's exciting. Like, I don't want to leave that state. Why would you? I'm literally in that greater version of myself. I'm in that dude's skin when I'm deep in my visualization. I'm like, I don't want to leave this. This is beautiful. I love this. And so I step out of that practice and I go about my day. And if I find myself slipping back into that scarcity, if I find myself hesitant to go and look at the bank account, if I find myself resisting doing my budget, I think back to that feeling of what it's like to be that financially abundant and peaceful person. And I remind myself that I am him. That is me. That is me. I'm just putting this heavy blanket over me and I'm dampening. I'm not allowing that person to come out. So I share this with you because it's been a cool tool that I've been incorporating that I'm actually feeling some differences in, and I'm seeing how my actions are being impacted and changed as a result. And I want to introduce this to you so that you can try it on for yourself. If you think it's bullshit, cool. Give it a shot anyway. What do you have to lose? Literally, if what do you have to lose by sitting down for 30 minutes in a state of peace and presence? This is a true win-win. You win if it works, and you win if it doesn't work. Even if it doesn't work, well, you just meditated for 30 minutes. Cool. You're welcome. So I want to give you a couple of steps, things that you can do to actually go about creating this connection of thoughts and feelings towards that person that you want to become. The first is to answer the question, like, who do you want to be? Figure out what state of beingness do you wish to be in? And I recommend honing in on one area that you really want to visualize. Hone in on an area where you really want to create something new for yourself. Then, create your comfortable space. If you're used to meditation, then create that normal meditation space. If you're not used to it, then I recommend sitting in a chair, sitting cross-legged on the floor. Remove distractions. Have the baby being taken care of. Put the pets outside. Put your phone on silent. And give yourself a great amount of time. You know what I mean? Give yourself 30, 45 minutes, an hour to really sink into this stuff. And then just picture yourself being that person that you want to be. Picture what your life looks like. Picture what you look like. Picture how it all feels to be in that higher state. Really feel it. That's the intention, is to feel it. Feel how you are now relating to yourself when you're in that state. Feel how you relate to others when you're in that state. Feel how you relate to life when you're in that state. Remember, the goal is to feel it. And you want to feel different. You want to feel connected to that version of you. Don't get up until you feel it. Otherwise, you haven't shifted anything. If you don't actually feel it, because that's the connection you're missing. You don't feel it right now. I am not feeling like a financially abundant person. Therefore, I am not one. In the way that I'm thinking, because I definitely am an abundant dude. But what I'm saying is, I don't feel like I'm at that level, and therefore I'm not at that level. And so for you in your life, you don't feel like you are that version of yourself that you want to become. So don't get up out of this visualization practice until you actually feel it. Then when you do, get up, go throughout your day, and work on cultivating your awareness to the times when you fall back into your normal patterns of thinking and feeling and being. All of that stuff, that's your old self. And that's what you're trying to break. That's what you're trying to reprogram. So when you get into that old self, just do like I said earlier, put yourself back into the thinking and the feeling of the new self, the one that you want to evolve into. This is about constant awareness. This is about constantly checking in on yourself, constantly realigning with your new self. Because you have a habit of your old self. You've created really strong, robust, deep-rooted patterns of being your old self. So if you want to get to that state of being in your new self, the one that you've been visualizing, it's going to take that awareness to be like, oh, I'm going back. Let me get on track with the new. Oh, I'm falling back into the old patterns. Let me get aligned with the new. And guess what? This stuff is not easy. And it doesn't happen quickly. It certainly doesn't. But you know what? Nothing that creates amazing results is easy and fast. Nothing great in life happens quickly and easily. It doesn't. So again, I'm sharing this with you. I would love for you to try this on, give it a shot, and just share your feedback with me. Just share your feedback. And if you've been doing this for a while, if you've been visualizing for a while, then I'm asking for your help. Reach out to me and help me improve my practice. Share with me what's been effective for you. I would love, love, love to learn this in a deeper way, to learn how to become more effective in this, because I'm a newbie, but I love this practice and I'm going to continue it because I'm feeling that shift and I'm seeing different results. So help me out. If you've been a master at this, help me out. All right. Well, this has been fun. Like I said, I was really excited jumping off my client call to share this with you because, that's what we were talking about. That's what she was feeling. And here I am with the same intention. So it's funny. I go back to Jose's email and how he was saying that the things that I share in the podcast seem to hit him at the perfect time. It's like I'm doing a message about scarcity and I'm in a scarce place. Wow. It was just meant for me. And it is. And I believe that. All right. I don't believe there's coincidence. So I'm excited because I know there's a number of you who are going to be able to use visualization to help you get to where you want to be. I know there's a number of you who have, maybe yesterday you heard the name Joe Dispenza, and now you're going to go and Google search him and watch his stuff on YouTube and be like, man, I just heard his name yesterday, and here Matthew is talking about him. Or you've seen an article or seen a book about visualization, this past weekend, and here I am talking about it now. Follow those arrows. Follow those arrows. I had a friend who used to always say that, follow the arrows, because things happen in life, and you're like, man, that's the second time I've seen this. That's the second time that's been brought up. That's the third time, blah, blah, blah. Those are arrows. Follow them. That's life, giving you little hints. It's like little breadcrumbs. So follow those arrows. Try out visualization. Connect with me. Tell me what your experience was like. Help me improve my practice, my relationship to it all. mattcbivens@gmail.com is my email address once again. And you can hit me up on Instagram, Matthew_Bivens. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I appreciate you joining in this conversation as we continue just playing for that abundant, loving life. Having it all. That's what it's about. I love it. And I love you. Thank you for hanging out with me. My name is Matthew Bivens, and here's to you having it all. Quick note about the Having It All podcast. I am not a doctor nor a licensed therapist. I'm a guy with a story and a passion for conscious conversation. My thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are my own. So please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider regarding any questions or issues you have related to your personal, physical, or mental health.